All righty. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Core Unit Tools. We're on session number 10, the big 1-0. I'm Retro with the Sustainable Ecosystem Scaling Core Unit from MakerDAO. And today we're joined by the team from Ricochet Exchange. They are referral from Superfluid, which was a tool that was covered in session number 8 of the Core Unit Tools. And without further ado, we'll let Sunny and team take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Retro. I'll share my screen and pull up our presentation. Full screen this. Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny, co-founder of Ricochet Exchange. I'm here today with Mike, our other co-founder and inventor. MakerDAO was one of the earliest DeFi projects I learned about when I first got involved in the blockchain space. So I'm really excited to be speaking today with you all. Today, we're going to shed some light on the power of Ricochet's automated recurring investment product and making your lives easier as you look to put your capital to work, be that from your personal salaries or organizational treasuries. So three-part agenda today. First off, we're going to talk about how Ricochet works. We are built on top of Superfluid, so we'll get into how we utilize their real-time finance rails to create real-time investing. Next, we'll dive into core applications of Ricochet and our overall mission in pioneering an entirely new spin on traditional crypto investing. And finally, we'll go through a live demo of our product. So that's the agenda. Ricochet's flagship product is the Stream Exchange. It's our biggest product. It's what drives the most volume, and users can essentially use stream markets to invest their money into or out of various assets through a variety of stream market pairings, which are shown at the bottom here. Pictured here is a real-time investing of DAI into ETH. The way this works is simple. Using Superfluid, users can stream DAI into the stream market. Every 30 minutes, our keeper calls the public distribute function on our contracts. The distribute takes the accumulated DAI to a DEX like SushiSwap. It swaps it to ETH and then distributes it to all the users in one go. So there's no need for claiming the ETH as it shows up right in your wallet. This is the closest thing there is to converting a stream of one token into another. So there are two good ways to comprehend this. First, you are doing super rapid dollar cost averaging, essentially conducting purchases every half hour, but totally hands-off and automated, which is pretty crazy because in crypto, you're always having to, mash your buttons on MetaMask to get trades done. Another clever way to think of this is like you're subscribing to a crypto asset. By opening a stream to a stream market, you subscribe to a service that distributes a target asset back to you every half hour. You can upgrade, downgrade, or cancel your subscription by updating or stopping your stream. So think of it like an automated investment plan that you subscribe to. Currently, we've got stream markets for Maker, ETH, Bitcoin, and Matic open for use, and we're going to be adding many more as we continue to expand. The last critical thing to note here is that this is all decentralized. This entire system is just smart contracts and the keeper, so everything's happening on chain and all our code is public. All right, so those are stream markets. So Ricochet Exchange creates value in three primary applications. First off, when it comes to saving and investing, with Ricochet, you can now do it in real time, automated and hands-off, which is an absolute game changer. Think of this. If you're earning a salary in Superfluid, using Ricochet Exchange, it's easy. Just carve off a portion of your salary into a stream market, and you're essentially converting that part of your salary into another token. To expand on that, if you're getting paid in a DAI stream, if you turn around and stream your entire salary into the DAI ETH stream market, you're basically converting your salary into an ETH salary. That's just mind-blowing. Also think of all the assets we provide. Why not diversify? You can essentially create a streaming portfolio by customizing your streams into these assets. Now you're talking automating diversification. What if you could take it a step further and take that ETH and start an automatic stream that converts it into yield-bearing Sushi LP tokens, and deposits it into Aave to earn yield? Now you're talking automating yield optimization. Mike is actually quite close to completing the first part with LP tokens. I believe there are several community projects out there that are working on the depositing part in Aave. The point is, thanks to the Superfluid protocol, Ricochet is opening the door to a whole realm of decentralized investment automation that's never been possible. Next, another new advantage Ricochet creates for organizations is the ability to mobilize their treasury or amplify the revenue in a passive fashion. So if you're a business and you're earning income, you could deflect a portion of your income into Ricochet. Say you earn $20,000 one month. Traditionally, companies come to their bearings at the end of the month, then gather that money and launch investments and adjust budgets. Something I can actually attest to as a former corporate financial analyst. If you're actively streaming it instead of lump investing, by the end of the month, that 20,000 could potentially be 21,000 or 22,000. You're compounding your profits every day without having to wait. Now let's say budgets shift. Then adjusting your investment plan is as easy as dialing your investment stream from say 5K a month to 4K a month. The other side to this is treasuries. Many DAOs are sitting on top of a lot of idle capital that they struggle to mobilize quickly due to governance red tape. With Ricochet, a DAO can trigger a stream that will invest, say, 10% worth of their treasury into an asset over the course of a year with a single vote. Also, treasury capital needs to be invested responsibly. In my opinion, Ricochet is the most responsible way to invest in crypto, allowing purchases of the asset to be done through regular investments that take on price risk gradually and linearly instead of putting lumps of capital at the mercy of the market all at once. This is super relevant to the personal saving and investing part that we discussed earlier as well. And lastly, Ricochet is actually quite helpful for trading. If you need to unload a whale position and don't want to totally disrupt the market, then Ricochet Exchange can let you spread out your sale and in some cases save on slippage. There's also a way to do streaming limit orders with Ricochet. Basically, it involves starting a stream that sells an asset at one price and buys it at another rate. By doing so, you're net buying the asset while it's within the price range and selling it when it's beyond the price range. We're still investigating the potential for this, but shout out to DD from Superfluid to coming to that revelation. Really cool stuff. The bottom line here is that this is all effortless, automatic, and decentralized. Those are three core concepts that we're going to harp across our messaging. So here I want to zoom in a bit further into the salary streaming use case, as this is what many MakerDAO team members with real-time salaries will be interested in applying. So let's say you're earning a stream of say 10,000 a month in DAI. You're seeing your balance tick up, you're happy. However, your money's on Polygon and it's sort of just sitting there. Converting it into fiat so you can use it for your day-to-day stuff can be annoying. So you decide it would be best you put that money to work by investing it. What if you can invest that money right as it arrives in your wallet every second? That's where Ricochet comes in. You like ETH and Maker, so you go to the DAI ETH stream market and start an outbound stream of 1,000 a month to it, and then go to the DAI Maker stream market and start an outbound stream of 1K a month there. And voila, you've got ETH and Maker coming into your wallet every 30 minutes. By constantly investing your earnings, maybe your 10,000 a month salary can turn into 10.5K per month salary based on the performance of those assets. Bottom line here is you're putting your money to work as soon as you get it. That goes back to maximizing the time value of your money, the most fundamental personal financial concept. All the while you're enjoying how effortless and automatic the process is. All our users can attest to just the satisfaction that comes with using Ricochet. It's a very easy, simple process. It's very satisfying. And this is where that kind of like subscription analogy really resonates with me. It's like you're using some of your income to subscribe to a crypto investment plan. The way part of your traditional monthly paycheck would go to Netflix or the gym. Boy, this is way cooler because you're seeing the value of your subscription accrue on a rapid half-hour interval. So that's that. So with all that being said, the Ricochet mission boils down to these three things. First off, we aim to bring supercharged automated investing to the masses. We believe Ricochet should be simple and usable. We're going to keep raising awareness of our cause so that as many people as possible can save themselves from the time and stress that crypto investing takes. Ideal users are obviously people like our maker friends with real-time salaries, but everyone can and should benefit from the responsible way of investing that Ricochet has created. This goes back, so the second concept here is we aim to increase the velocity of crypto capital for individuals and enterprises. This comes down to basically putting your money to use as soon as you receive it. Reducing the hangover time between capital reception and investment drives efficiencies for individuals and enterprises across the board. And lastly, and this is critical, we aim to support the expansion of the superfluid real-time financial ecosystem. The more money that's in the superfluid system, the more value it drives for us and other projects leveraging their real-time finance rails. It's really a tide that lifts all boats. Another cool observation here is that a bunch of our users come here not knowing what superfluid is. They just do the upgrade, they hit the start button, and boom, they're up and running. And then they learn about superfluid afterwards and are just blown away. So we're pleased with how Ricochet has been very successful in onboarding users into the Superfluid ecosystem itself. What do we get in return? Well, we get more volume and we get friends showing us all over the place. So it's awesome. All right, so that's it for the discussion here. We're going to turn it over to a demonstration of Ricochet Exchange created by a community member. They did an excellent job here, so pull this up and we're going to let it run. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I need to share my audio.
You may have to stop the share and then restart
We got it.
the share with the checkbox.
Can you hear that?
No.
No. Okay.
Stop your share and then restart your share. And there's a checkbox at the bottom of the share screen that says share sound.
Got it.
Got it.
Oh, there it is. Cool. All right.
Different options. So you are able to stream between these two different options. You can stream ETH into DAI. So I guess that's like dollar cost selling in a way. You're streaming ETH into DAI. So instead of selling your ETH for DAI, you can sell your ETH for DAI over a long period of time. If you look on the right of the screen, you can do the opposite. I personally have only ETH in my Polygon wallet, so I'm going to be streaming that to DAI for this tutorial. Show you how it goes. Yes, I know it's a bit sacrilegious to sell your ETH. I know, I'm an ETH bull, but it's just for this presentation. I'm going to be trading it back after, don't worry. There's one problem, is that I can't just use my regular ETH. I actually have to use ETHX, which is Super ETH. It's the ETH that is powered by Superfluid that you can stream. So essentially, you need to put your ETH, you need to wrap it as Super ETH, and then it's going to be streaming that. At the bottom of the page, you have a section where you can do that. You don't have to go to the Superfluid website, which is pretty cool. I'm now scrolling down to the bottom where I wrap my ETH into Super ETH. I clicked on Max, Approve, do the MetaMask stuff because I want to change my ETH for Super ETH. I'm not doing that much, it's like 0.02 ETH or something like that. Maybe you've noticed that since it's on Polygon, the fees are really cheap, so I've been paying almost nothing to do all this stuff, which is really great. Having a good time, and it's great for tutorials, so I don't have to burn all my gas. Now that it's wrapped as the Super ETH, WETHX, you'll see on the right side that I have a balance of WETHX, and we're ready to start streaming wrapped ETH to DAI. So go back to the top, and it's pretty straightforward. Just put in the amount you want to stream into DAI. That's the only option to do WETH to DAI. And yeah, just start streaming. Put in the amount, click the buttons. Pretty straightforward. I cut out the MetaMask part for the video because I don't think anyone cares about seeing me do MetaMask. And I'm going to the Superfluid page, which is the technology that underlies this exchange. Just so you can see, they have a way nicer interface. You can see the stream actually happening in real time, which is kind of cool. So open my wallet on there. It takes a second to load, and then you'll see the stream actually happening in real time. Check this out. The money is streaming from ETH to DAI. See, it's got a counter and it's counting down. I have to double check the period of time in which your asset is being streamed into the other asset. Maybe it's a month or something like that. I'm not totally.
The answer is every 30 minutes. After the time range in between 1 minute to 30 minutes, he will see DAIX appear in his wallet. And that will keep accruing as his stream continues. So that's it for the demonstration here. We're going to continue on. I'm going to turn over to Mike to talk about some of our other initiatives.
Yeah, thanks, Sonny. So we have a couple other initiatives on things that we're expanding on. The first and most important, I think, is our Ricochet DAO initiative. So our token was created, the Ricochet token, or RIC, as a governance token for the Ricochet DAO. It has a fixed supply of 10 million tokens. All 10 million tokens were minted and transferred to our Ricochet DAO treasury. And that treasury is a Gnosis multi-sig safe. The primary use case of having a RIC token is voting on how we should be using the funds accumulated in the DAO treasury. The token is specified, the token distribution is outlined in our white paper. And basically a high-level summary is that 10% of the supply, or 1 million RIC tokens, were allocated to be distributed as part of our version 1 liquidity mining. So that's running and active now. If you stream into any of the markets on Ricochet, you'll receive some RIC tokens as a subsidy. Another 10% of the supply, or 1 million tokens, was allocated to rewarding the core team. So these are people like me and Sunny and several others who have been contributing in this early V1 and making it successful. So that's another 10% of the supply, which will be distributed based on a vote from the Treasury. And then the other 8 million tokens, or 80% of the supply, is remaining in the Treasury, and those tokens are earmarked for future incentives. So, the things that people might use that for is when we list new tokens, we may vote on listing a new coin, and a certain amount of RIC can be allocated to a new listed coin as an early liquidity incentive. The other things that we may vote on using those tokens for is funding to complete new projects, or reward contributors who contribute to the success of Ricochet Exchange. There are really 3 ways to participate in governance right now. The first is anyone can publicly discuss the proposals. We have a proposals channel in Discord. We have a lot of these conversations. The other thing you can do is, if you're holding RIC tokens, you can vote on proposals in Snapshot. We've already gone through several proposals around things like listing new tokens, things like how many tokens we want to use to subsidize new features. And then if you have over 10,000 RIC tokens, you're eligible to submit proposals. So you can submit proposals for just about anything through the DAO. So our second initiative, the Rex Launchpad, this is a tool that's live now. You'll see it at the top of our exchange. The Launchpad intends to create a Launchpad contract for projects to do a fair launch. The Launchpad does away with front running and minor extractable value, and makes it so that everybody is getting sort of the same deal when they start to participate. The Launchpad works by distributing a fixed amount of tokens over a fixed period of time. So there's essentially an emission rate of the new token being launched, and then anyone can stream to the Launchpad, and streamers will receive a proportion of the emission, and that is a proportion of their stream relative to everybody else's stream. So if you're streaming $1,000 coin to the Launchpad, and there's a total of $10,000 coin being streamed, then you'll receive, while you're streaming, you'll receive 10% of the emission. So streamers can compete to earn a proportion of the distribution. And as streamers come and go, the effective price of the token, the effective price that people are paying, will move up and down as it would in a traditional limit order book market or automated market maker style. And then, of course, the main innovation around the Launchpad is using streams, and that allows us to get rid of the ability to game the system or to extract value via the inefficiencies of kind of trading on the blockchain. And then our final initiative is what we call Rex tokens. And what we're doing here is trying to create a series of tokens that can act as yield-bearing streamable tokens. Our first target is the SushiSwap liquidity pools and the farming contracts on SushiSwap. We aim to make it so that you can stream US dollar coin or DAI into a SushiSwap liquidity pool position, and we can have that liquidity pool position also staked so that it's earning Sushi and Matic rewards. And as a streamer, the experience would be that you're accruing SLP tokens and you're simultaneously receiving subsidies or rewards. So the Sushi and the Matic will be as we do each distribution, it will distribute the Sushi and the Matic from the Sushi contracts right to your wallet. You won't have to do any harvest. Everything will just be happening just like streaming. So it'll be the sort of a real-time yield aggregation, or really it's not necessarily aggregation so much as it's a harvesting. So real harvesting of subsidies back to your wallet. So yeah, thanks. I'll hand it over back to Sunny. Go ahead.
Awesome. That concludes our presentation. We hope that this enlightened you all as to how groundbreaking and useful this all is, Ricochet and real-time investing and the potential for it. And we're now going to open up the floor to questions. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome presentation, guys. Really enjoyed the demo as well. Looks like we have one question in the chat. George, you should have the ability to unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. Otherwise, I could read it out.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm one of the early contributors to the project, and what struck me as a Launchpad, it really innovates on the ICO idea that almost like a VC 2.0 basically. Instead of like VC have rounds, and ICOs normally is done as a one kind of big investment. So ICOs kind of disincentivize the teams to keep building after they get the funds after the ICO. So I think Launchpad completely turns that around, and actually, as the stream comes in slowly, the teams would be incentivized to keep building and keep pushing, keep innovating, and at the same time, the participants are, they can just cancel their streams at any moment if they don't like the way the project is going. So to me, that's like a huge innovation on the VC space and on the ICOs as well. I guess my question is like, what are the plans? How could we attract new teams to join Launchpad, and what are the criteria that Ricochet is looking for these? Do they have to be linked with super tokens or superfluid ecosystem, or can it just be any teams, NFT projects, things like that?
Yeah, George, good to see you. First
Yeah,
off,
it's good to see you, George.
George is one of our biggest contributors
Thanks
on the
for
funding
coming.
side. So glad to see that you joined us here. Yeah, and just commenting on the way that the Launchpad kind of breaks the traditional process of the ICOs. It's not an entire like lump all at once thing. It's drawn out. Our Ricochet, our Ric token Launchpad is going to be persisting over 6 months. So it's open, it's there, it's available, and it's not something that's just going to kind of flash in the pan. So it's a kind of cool spin on the ICO process and kind of breaks the mold. And yeah, so this is a very valuable kind of question. So when it comes to expanding our service here, like I think it's all about kind of connecting, networking, and finding new projects that will be able to utilize the Launchpad to basically put out their token there and get real-time pricing. I think so the second part of your question was, can any project kind of come in here and use it? The answer is yes. Any project come in here, we can wrap their token into a super token, and we can start a Launchpad with their token. So that's a go. And when it comes to attracting new teams, Mike and I were discussing this the other day. One potential could be we just launched a bounty program. So because of how valuable it is to have new projects engaged in our Launchpad protocol, we're definitely going to have some nice bounties out there for people that can connect us with teams that want to use the Launchpad for a nice, open, fair ICO with our Launchpad. And as we keep on growing, as we keep on getting our name out there, I'm sure that there will be a pull effect too as people realize the value of the Launchpad. And we're going to keep connecting. We're going to keep getting our name out there, and we're going to keep adding connections, and that'll expand the Launchpad.
And I would say the same thing, which is like, as a technical person, I'm always like, well, people will see the value in it for its, what it solves. But I think we have to do a better job of like educating people on that. One thing we've discussed is, we had a pretty good white paper for just like our normal stream exchange. We really need to get on getting a white paper for our Launchpad, because there are a lot of like things in there that are advantageous. And if we had a document like that we could circulate, I think more teams, especially technical teams, would understand the benefits of launching in that fashion as opposed to some of the other methods out there. So yeah, I guess the answer to what are your plans to attract new team members, I think it's like create a white paper and get it circulated, and start sharing some of the benefits and advantages of doing a streaming Launchpad versus your traditional automated market maker Launchpad or any other kinds of contracts. So. And yeah, we can do any token, right? So we'll have to wrap it as a super token. But that's, the equivalent of doing wrapped ETH almost. So.
And I guess the requirement is either DAO tokens or any ERC20. The
Oh yeah, that
team
was
or
your
project
follow-up
has to
question,
have
which
that.
is what would be the criteria. I mean, generally, I think we want to make it so the Launchpad can be used by anyone, just like Uniswap liquidity pools. As far as like what the Ricochet Exchange website is a centralized component, like I run that. So as far as like getting listed on that site, I think we would have to have some criteria because we want to make sure we don't list anything bad. But yeah, I think you know, the criteria around that would just be like, it just can't be an obvious scam. And, you know, we have to, you know, sort of make sure that the people running it don't have any associations with previous scams. That would be my only like main concern. As far as like what they're doing or what, I don't think it's for us to really judge. I think we just want to make sure that we don't list scams. So.
Excellent question. I just had a quick follow-up point about the allowable trade limits that you mentioned. I believe it was on the roadmap for setting up stop and buy limits for streams. Is that currently on the roadmap, and do you have a time frame for when that would be released?
No, I don't have it on the roadmap, and I'll tell you why. I mean, the traders are not really our primary customer that we're interested in. You know, trading is a big market, but it's very competitive. Lots of people are making tools for it. As far as implementing it goes, we have had lots of discussions about implementing that feature. It is a lot of work, so that's not sort of sits on the back behind, you know, the features that benefit our target customer, which is essentially, you know, employees getting paid and looking to invest their money, which I think is not currently a serviced market in crypto. So I think we have a lot more chance of success there, getting ingrained in there. So yeah, I mean, it's on the roadmap, but it's at the very, very bottom, really. And the primary reason for that is, one, it's very hard, time consuming, and two, it targets a sort of secondary customer or secondary like a persona. So yeah.
Yeah, no, perfect. That makes perfect sense. Based on the explanation provided in the talk, it definitely seemed more comparable to, like you said, that investment vehicle of like a 401k or something that traditional.
Yeah. I think over time, that's the kind of interface experience we'd like to provide too, which is that sort of interface you get in a traditional like 401k account where you can log in, you see like a pie chart, you see your distributions that you received, and you can sort of get a sense of like how well you're performing. So that's sort of the future vision of Ricochet. Now, obviously, it's not too much to make that limit order feature, and I think people would even use it. Like people say, you know, employees getting paid, I think would actually use it. But hopefully, we'll have some more contributors come in and step up in the contracts. I mean, really, like right now, I'm just like writing all the contract code, and periodically we have people like George and a few others who make contributions to like the specific things within those. But in the future, I would hope that people will step up and, you know, sort of want to take on something as big as daunting as that. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, occasionally, another thought I'm just having is occasionally, and I forget who we've had these discussions with, but I think there's been two teams like this. People sort of ask, people have built stuff and they're under some other brand name. And I think because Ricochet Exchange has a lot of traction, you know, there's an opportunity for people to come in and contribute and, you know, sort of make a proposal for, you know, hey, we'd like to roll this in, give it the same Ricochet brand. And for that kind of thing, I think it would make a lot of sense for us to do a deal where we give them a bunch of tokens, right? We basically give them the 10,000 tokens minimum that they need to become a proposer. And then that way, if they have the 10,000 tokens to make proposals, they can make proposals to finance their own work, right? And it all gets rolled under our brand, and the network effect of everyone rallying around the Ricochet token and, you know, trying to make Ricochet a successful thing. Would be a good thing. And that's how it's a little bit of a pie in the sky, but I think we could get there for sure.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're really like kind of pioneering under the concept of real-time investing. And so we're gonna keep on, you know, pushing this like kind of like new frontier of DeFi investing. That's kind of the idea there. So a project that comes up in Superfluid that really kind of fits that mold, we're gonna definitely kind of that they can, kind of come under our umbrella pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The highest priority thing is definitely these Ricochet exchange tokens, Rex tokens, because one, I think that delivers a lot of value to people because we're able to harvest yield and get into some of these liquidity pool positions, which have different profiles than just buying the token outright. And two, just from a treasury and sustainability perspective, if we're doing this aggregation, we're able to take a convenience fee, right? We're saving people from having to go harvest periodically. That's time, which is far more expensive than gas. So, we could basically justify taking a 10% fee, or I think we would want to look at what other yield aggregators are doing and try to price around that same level. So.
Yeah, definitely. The harvesting aspects of that too just blows the solution out of the water.
Yeah, and if you think about it, what you could do, you can create yield aggregating with that, because if you're receiving like Sushi X and Matic X, you could just set up streams to be selling those back to DAI and then DAI back into the liquidity pool. So you're essentially like looping it through your own yield aggregator. Now, I don't know if that would be more efficient, but anyway, you get the idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just really cool, like the potential for automating your kind of investment plan. You can kind of like customize it stuff. Maybe even like maybe one potential future direction is like customizing this on like your on the Ricochet UI. So you can basically like customize like different, you can visualize like different steps your kind of income stream is going through in acquiring yield and kind of going through different stream markets. And
that's the vision I'd like to see, is like being able to route your income, right?
And
because people are going to have income from many places.
It definitely like saves stress, it saves time, and there are definitely like ways that you can optimize. Like one way that I personally do is I used to get paid in a DAI salary stream as well. And so what I would do is I would take my stream, I would put it through Ricochet, I would invest it in ETH, and I would take that ETH at the end of every week, I would just deposit it into Aave. And then what I would do is I would borrow against that ETH. So I'm earning interest on that ETH, and then I would like borrow DAI against it. And I would deposit in a yield aggregator like Polycat Finance and just start earning like 15% APY. So a lot of cool strategies to be had.
And I sort of have done the employer side of that, where I keep everything in ETH, and then I open up an ETH to DAI stream, and then I stream out DAI to the people that I pay. So I'm never really holding a lot of DAI, right? Obviously, as the price of ETH changes, the amount of DAI that I have accrues and falls. So if I see there's like a bunch of DAI that has accumulated, then I'll just lower my ETH to DAI stream. But in this way, I'm basically not like batch selling ETH to DAI. I'm selling the ETH to DAI and then distributing it right away. So it's basically like I'm basically paying them with ETH by way of the conversion to DAI. And that's been very good. It's been a very good strategy.
I was going to say that was my follow-up question. An ideal implementation for a core unit, I guess both not using Superfluid and using Superfluid. How would you recommend facilitators approach that?
Yeah, I think it depends on what your base asset that you want to be paying people with is, and then the asset they want. So like in the example, I would say like if you're using DAO treasury tokens, like you have a DAO and you have your own, or governance tokens, I should say, you can open up a stream of your governance tokens to DAI, and then open up streams from DAI to all of your employees, so that you're never really holding DAI. You're always basically paying people via governance tokens. And then you're also never bulk selling, because you're just every half hour you're selling a little bit. So your impact on the secondary market would be really, really small as you sell, right? So there wouldn't be this day where like, oh, we know that the governance people vote on the last day of the month. So like, before they have to like sell against us, let's just sell before that. So yeah. I don't know if that happens, but that's sort of what I'm thinking that would be used. Like Ricochet, we could be using that. There's no market to sell Ricochet, right? Valueless governance token. But if there were people that wanted to buy it and made a market, we could set this flow up to pay people. So yeah, that's one way. And then the other way, I think, is just if a project wants to sell tokens to build up like a reserve of some other asset, it's probably best to sell it using something like Ricochet, as opposed to the alternative, which is a bunch of like multi-sig transactions, right? And then each one is presumably rather large, or so, plus you see there's another thing about it, which is sort of this visibility aspect, which is if you were doing that governance tokens streaming to ETH, you actually don't see the governance tokens in your wallet going down, and there's no ERC20 transfer happening for all of the analytics tools to pick up. So it looks like if someone were to inspect the Gnosis safe, we don't have any streams in ours, so it's not a good example, but if someone were to inspect the safe that was streaming this way, they would never see the balance going down unless they call the balance of function, right? So there's some like privacy. I mean, it's privacy through obscurity, but like that's just the same as like putting blinds on your windows or something, right? So it does help in that way. I mean, I don't know if necessarily that's the kind of behavior a DAO would want, right? But it is sort of a side effect of the way that the ERC 777 is not really tracked on any kind of analytics tool, because it requires this like time dependent analysis where like you have to know when they opened it, and then you have to know how long it's been open. It's not just a transfer that it's time. Transfers are time independent, right? Because they're time stamped with exactly the time that the event happened. So, but these events go over a long period of time. Eventually analytics tools will catch up, but for now it's basically sort of a private way to trade. So like, for example, if you have DAI in your wallet and you stream to ETH, and you just leave that stream open, you're not going to see on Etherscan that you have ETH, because you never did an ERC20 transfer. On something like DBank and Zapper, you will see these things because they pick it up, but anyone looking at Etherscan won't see. They'll just see the DAI that you have. They won't know that you've streamed like 50% or 70% to ETH. So they'd have to literally go to the ETHX contract and call the balance of function with your address. Then they could see what your current balance is. So
yeah, I think the governance part that Mike brought up was pretty valuable. Going back to your question of how core unit might use this, like essentially using Ricochet, you can mobilize your capital perpetually with a single vote. And so instead of having to, do your multi-sig transactions at the end of each month, it's just a single transaction that starts a linear real-time stream of, capital out of the DAO's custody into another asset back into the DAO's custody. So, simplifies that faucet there, and basically puts that idle money to work instantly.
Oh, a lot of good points discussed there. And like you said, even if the transparency thing isn't advantageous for the DAO from a contributor perspective as well, it may be good to add some obscurity there, depending on the role. We'll give it a couple more minutes here. If there are any questions from the audience, please feel free to chat or unmute yourself and join the discussion. Let's see here. Yeah, and I guess the last question that I would have would be associated back to that demo, how the gentleman said that he wasn't sure about how the initial contribution was streamed out. I know the distributions to the wallet are every 30 minutes, but is that how, I guess, what's that time scale for that initial deposit to be transferred into the streaming asset?
Yeah, there's two
Like,
times when there's a distribution.
Should I pull up the Polygon scan to show like a contract?
Yeah. So basically there's two times when a distribution happens. Distributions happen when a new streamer joins. So when a new streamer joins, that triggers a distribution. And then the other alternative is when the two keepers trigger at the top and bottom of the hour. So if you join like at the 15-minute mark on the hour, you have to wait 15 minutes to see your first distribution, and your distribution will be equal to swapping 15 minutes of streaming, right? Now we want to dial it up, but it just with the volume on the market, it just doesn't make sense to dial it up any faster. But ideally, we'd like to add a third keeper and then do it every 20 minutes, and then do a fourth keeper, do it every 15 minutes, and just kind of add keepers like that. So if anyone's interested in becoming a keeper, it is not something we currently have incentives for, but I think as a DAO, we're weighing opening up a stream of Matic to our keepers so that even though our contract doesn't have a way to subsidize or reward them for doing the keeping, we're at least kind of getting their gas or reimbursing them for the gas that they're spending now. Because it is like 200 or 250 Matic per month that the keepers are spending to sort of run these streams. As you notice, gas on Maker or gas on Polygon has gone up. I mean, it's still very, very inexpensive, but it's not as inexpensive as it was before. We also added a bunch of markets, right? We have, I think, 8 markets. And so that means 8 transactions every hour for each keeper. So it does add up. It does add up.
Yeah. As you can see, we run this is a contract. You can see the distribute function being called. This one is every hour. So this is our ETH. This is our DAI to ETH market. It currently has our keeper running every hour as opposed to 30 minutes with some of our other ones. So just a tad slower, but this what it looks like. You can see it going through and doing its distributes. Sometimes, there are liquidity issues. And so the transaction might fail, but it'll pick up and distribute during the next one. If we go into transaction, you can just see the process take place. So, the super DAI that accumulated the contract is taking the sushi. It's downgraded to regular DAI. It's swapped for wheat, and then it's upgraded to super wheat, and then it's distributed to all the users of the stream market at once. So, you can kind of zoom in and see what's happening by going to the contracts on Polygon scan. So, yeah. That's one though.
Is that one of the keepers? That must be an older keeper.
Yeah, it's an older one. It's like one of the earliest earlier markets. I guess if we go to, let's see, Maker, DAI to Maker. This might be more rapid.
Yeah,
you can see this one's every. Oh no, this one's every 1 hour.
I bet the other keeper's down. The keeper issue is a huge problem. Is like incentivizing people. It doesn't, even if we had baked in a fee to like split the fee to the keepers, the fees are still so small that there wouldn't be enough left. So nonetheless, I think it's probably that I noticed that other wallet 0x27 was totally out of gas, has like 0 Matic in it. I am 0xD1 keeper, by the way. So that's the keeper that I run. And I keep a lot of Matic in there. So
someone asked, can a keeper be a Lambda function or does it have to be a Docker server?
I mean, a keeper can be whatever you want. Really, it's just it's a Ethereum owned account that triggers a transaction. So you could do it from a scheduled Lambda, or you could run a Docker container. The keeper that is in the GitHub repository is an Apache Airflow project. So Apache Airflow can't really be deployed as a Lambda. But if you wanted to, I mean, there's nothing really complicated going on. It's just triggering a transaction every once in a while. The only reason I use Apache Airflow is because it's a good suite, and also like the keepers can do more than just just call trigger distributions. Like my keeper is also reporting a price to the Oracle, along with I think 5 other price reporters on that Oracle. And then my keeper is also aggregating events on the blockchain. There's a feature where we will shut off your stream if your balance gets too low. So I also there's also code in our keeper for managing that kind of thing as well. But yeah, you could just trigger a Lambda function and have periodically just execute distribution calls to the contracts. That'd be fine. Yeah.
And yeah, so you can see here that the contract, the stream exchange contract holds RIC token. We are distributing this over the course of, I believe, the next 6 months, 40,000 worth of RIC token. Currently, that's down to 33,000. And yeah, I think this points to another kind of interesting feature with those stream exchanges. We can load them with these rewards, and these rewards are distributed proportionally to all of the people with their streams. So let's say the current total value streaming in a stream market is 10,000 per month, 10,000 DAI per month. Let's say you add another stream of 1,000 DAI per month. So now the total value streaming is 20,000 DAI per month. You are now capturing half of the rewards that are being distributed with each distribution. So interesting point there. And also, let's say a token comes in, they say they wanted to have a stream market listed for themselves. They can, you know, they can give the Ric DAO their token, and we can add in those rewards and replace them. So instead of having Ric, you can have, you know, say we have a sushi market, we can incentivize that with sushi or another token, another super token. So another interesting aspect there with the incentives.
Got it. Yeah, that definitely clears up a lot of the details, minutia with using Ricochet. Gentlemen, fantastic talk. I think that's about all the questions that we have for you. If there are any follow-up questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
The best way to do that will be to join our Discord. Our Discord, it's linked on our website, ricochet.exchange. You can follow us on Twitter. We're always out there. We're always putting in the latest scoop on our Twitter. Very active. Ricochet Exchange. There's no E in there. Note that. And yeah, that'll be that. Those are the two best ways. Mike and I are always out there on our Discord, responding to questions, technical proposals, just general chat. We're all over the place there. And yeah, our Discord is the #1 way.
Awesome. And then Joe asked if we can access the slides. Joe, there'll be a recording of this session posted to the MakerDAO YouTube channel follow up. And I believe if they need the slides, reach out on Discord or Twitter then. Perfect.
Yeah, and best for last, I'd like to just share our upcoming user interface that our friends over at SFDYX were able to help us engineer and put together. This is currently in staging, but it will be available in our main app soon after we just add additional testing and you know, just kind of clear up some kinks here and there. You know, it's just a lot prettier. You can see everything in, you know, these bars that are akin to SushiSwap, and you know, it's just very simple. You can search for, say you're interested in maker markets, you can type in that, filter down there. You can expand, start your streams through this. And yeah, you can also go to your wallet as opposed to our original interface where everything was kind of tucked away down here, very spread out and kind of space occupying. Like it's a lot more simple here. You just upgrade, downgrade, you can pick your tokens and go through that whole shebang. So awesome stuff here. We're excited we're really looking forward to getting this out there.
Yeah, that looks super slick. Very excited to keep in touch and progress with the project. I'll definitely be dropping you guys a follow here on Twitter here pretty soon.
Awesome. We appreciate it, Retro. Thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah, no, our pleasure, guys. Again, recordings will be posted on the MakerDAO YouTube channel here shortly. And any follow-up questions, check out Ricochet's Discord. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And keep an eye out on the MakerDAO public calendar for our next core unit tools call, TBD to be scheduled.
Great. Thanks for having us.